Should we start this? I think we should.
Are you ready to be pod smacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
Hello and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here with me. Been an interesting day in Kansas City. Where I live, we had freezing rain all day. Schools were out. Hung out with my daughter and my son, who doesn't speak very much to me because he's 18 years old. It's like, hey, Dad, how you doing? Kind of mumbles, that kind of thing. But anyway, it's always glorious to have him, be hanging out with the kids. My wife hates it when the kids are home from school. I friggin' love it when the kids are home from school. So anyway, we had freezing rain today. Much to get to on the show, including CNN and MSNBC helping Russia sow discord by promoting fake anti-Trump rallies. Did you hear about this? So, Russia was very involved in our election process. Whether or not they didn't sway anybody. I don't understand. I really don't understand counterintelligence. I really don't understand why you would do this, but there has been a good deal of discord sowed in this country, and apparently a lot of it is happening from Russia, and a lot of it's happening from George Soros. There was a big November 12th rally, 2016. There was a pro and anti-Trump rallies in New York City on the Saturday after Election Day. And apparently the Russians organized it. Russian-organized anti-Trump rally. When it came to MSNBC and CNN, correspondents celebrated the idea that it was a love rally and repeated the marchers' anti-Trump mantras such as, "We reject President-elect." So there was a lot of that going on. Tracy, thanks for sharing. God bless you. Appreciate it. None of the networks was aware who was behind the march. CNN and MSNBC reveled in the inflammatory messages at the march. At one point, MSNBC anchor Alex Witt credulously responded to the ridiculously alarming rhetoric. Quote, that woman, when she's saying she's concerned that black people will be shot in the street, is that a legitimate concern for her? Because that's scary. Now, that's, of course, nonsense. But there was a lot of stuff going on around Donald Trump's inauguration. The Women's March in Washington, D.C., that was AstroTurf. It was AstroTurf. And the protest during the day of the inauguration, AstroTurf bought and paid for. That's what it was. Correspondent Morgan Radford cheerfully played along, saying, Alex, it's not only a legitimate concern for her, it's a legitimate concern for a lot of people I've spoken to. They're wondering if Trump's election is almost a license to carry in terms of hate. Okay, all right, whatever. Victoria in Indiana, hello. Barbara in Washington State. Thank you for joining me tonight, guys. Really appreciate it. Victoria, Indiana. Lovely. I've done some time on, there's a station I'm drawing a blank, WIBC in Indianapolis. Alex Witt asked Radford, hey, Morgan, can you tell who has organized this rally? Is there someone in charge here? She said, right now, this is lots of different groups of people who've come together with no necessarily official leader. That's been some of the criticism, but apparently they decided to pin it on a guy, a 20-year-old student from St. John University in New York. And he really wasn't. It wasn't. It was organized by outsiders, and a lot of these anti-Trump rallies have been organized by outsiders. They are not real rallies. They are not grassroots. They are AstroTurf. Grassroots AstroTurf. You see what I'm saying there? So it's a little bit, it's a little bit ridiculous. Daniel in West Florida. How you doing there, Daniel? Lisa in Tennessee. Hello. Lisa, I just got turned down for a job at WWTN in Nashville. That's okay, though. That's okay. Michael Moore. He attended one of these. Well, the rallies that I was talking about November the 12th. Trump is not my president rally. The Trump is not my president rally. Think about that. A rally called the Trump is not my president rally, organized by Russians. Moore tweeted that day at today's Trump Tower protest, he wouldn't come down. Apparently, he attached a picture of himself posing with a large number of protesters. Hopefully, he didn't fall on them. And by the way, last year, Moore wrote on Facebook, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what was going on. Trump colluding with the Russians to throw the election to him, and then he goes to a rally that's organized by the Russians. It's just unbelievable. Lisa says it's 75 here today. Oh, yeah, okay, girl, whatever. Hi, George in Louisiana, man. Glad to have you joining me tonight, guys. And again, if you wouldn't mind sharing, because come in, I want to talk. I want to get real on a couple things here. I want to get real on what happened in Florida, and I want to get real on what are we going to do to stop it, man. School shootings. And last week I talked about school shootings, and the one thing we're failing to notice is the demographics of those who are doing the school shootings. Now, there is a wide difference of nationalities and demographics. They're all men, okay? They're all relatively young men, with the exception of the Mandalay Bay shooter, who was 60 years old, I think, or maybe a little older. But we need to have a discussion as to why the F this is happening. And I will tell you, if you focus on the gun, then you're missing the point. Because if the gun were the issue, then assault rifle shootings would dominate in the country. Okay, it would be number one. But the number one killer of people in the country is handguns. That's it. And it's one or two or three at a time, whatever. It's Chicago. It's St. Louis. It's Baltimore, just named the most dangerous city in America. Baltimore just named the most dangerous city in America. Unbelievable. You know what else? 3 times as many people are killed because of, rather than assault rifles and rifles. Rifles pretty small. Less than 400 people killed by rifles every year in the country. Did you know that? Less than 400 people. Now, is it incredibly troubling and terrifying and awful and unacceptable that 17 kids are killed and kids and teachers are killed in a high school? Yes, unacceptable. But did you know that 3 times as many people are stabbed to death in this country than shot by rifles? Do we need comprehensive knife control? Do we need mental illness checks for knife control or handgun control? One other thing. The cities where the gun control restrictions are the most extreme have the highest murder rates. You don't believe me? The stats are everywhere. Okay? So let me ask you guys who are watching right now. What do we do? What do we do? There's something unique about our country right now in the world with regard to the number of mass shootings. Okay? We know that. I respect the Second Amendment. I do. Donald Trump said that he was looking at banning bump stocks today. And I'll tell you, to me, that's a non-issue. It's a non sequitur. If you really want to shoot an automatic weapon, and I'm going to be going to, there's a local place here called Frontier Justice, the wonderful indoor shooting range, and they are all about safety. They're all about respect for the gun. I'm going to go there either Friday or Saturday and do a broadcast, okay? If you want to shoot an automatic weapon, they got them there. All you got to do is say, I want to pay to shoot an automatic weapon. They take you in, and under supervision, you get to shoot an automatic weapon. These are weapons that were sold before the ban began on automatic weapons. If you are determined to make a weapon automatic, there are ways you can do it. The bump stock is currently available, and I guess, and this is going to make me some sort of a charlatan, but if they want the bump stocks, let them have the bump stocks. If they want the bump stocks, you can let them have the bump stocks. As far as an AR-15 is concerned, and I had mentioned this on the show, and I'm not. I've got a couple guns myself, but I'm not a hyper experienced shooter, all right? I've shot some skeet and I've shot some practice, and my son's got a really cool target gun. It's a biathlon gun. It's spectacular. He can shoot a frickin' nickel at 50 yards. He could shoot a nickel in the middle, 50 yards. Woo, unbelievable. But maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I understand about the AR-15 is that it is a glorified hunting rifle made to look like a military weapon. It is not an official military weapon. An AR-15 is not, right? I don't know. I could be wrong. I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me see what your thoughts are right now. Gun-free zone. Yes, get rid of that bull crap. All right? Arm the janitor and the hall monitors. I do believe in that. There's nothing masculine about those kids that shot those. Yeah, I know. Toxic masculinity. We'll get into that in a second. Lisa says, got a feeling the FBI made this kid worse, probably gave him the gun. No, the FBI just dropped the damn ball. The FBI just completely dropped the damn ball. They had every bit of information that they needed. They knew this kid was armed. They had been approached last September. They had been approached in January. They'd been told that he has weapons. They'd been told that he is talking about shooting up a school. I mean, I don't know what else the hell you want. He didn't name the day he was going to do it, I guess. I don't know what the hell else. Right? So the FBI dropped the ball. That's okay. Let's just go ahead and make fixing the FBI part of the equation. Okay? Now, what are the other parts of this? This kid who shot up the school in Florida did not have a bump stock. He did manage to stockpile some weapons. He was 19 years old. He was an adult. The police had been called to his home 39 times while he was growing up. Okay? How did this kid get these guns? That's a question we need to ask. Kid is whacked. He's broadcasting to everybody his issues. He just bought the AR-15, even though the FBI got a report about him that they failed to follow through on. So there's that. Okay. Let's also look at some other aspects of our society. We can narrow this down a little bit. Okay. Everybody who owns an AR-15, everybody who owns an assault rifle, 99.9% of them don't do anything to harm anybody else. They just think it's kick-ass to have one. I would love to have one. I don't have one. I would love to have one. But I don't have one. I will get one eventually, I hope, just for shooting. And you know what? I know that you're going to say I'm a total puss, but I had one of those automatic pellet rifles. The plastic BB, the airsoft, I had one of those. And as much as it's not the same, it is still pretty cool to put that little thing in auto, 1,500 feet per square, 1,500 feet per second. So you're shooting, and it's these little plastic BB. It hurt like hell, but it's cool just to kind of experience it. It's not the same as shooting, obviously, but I had one, and it was a lot of fun. And again, if you want the fully auto experience, there are places you can go experience the full auto experience. So, what do you think? Giving them the bump stock, is that cool or no? All right. I know you're going to say this is a creep. This is an incremental creep toward confiscation of weapons. I understand. I'm very protective of the Second Amendment. Again, back to what we need to do. So, metal detectors at schools. We need to start in school shootings now. Not all of these mass shootings were done by white boys in schools. And this kid, Cruz, apparently, I don't know if he was officially Hispanic, but he was adopted by a man and a woman. And they have the name Cruz. So I don't know if this kid was Hispanic or not, regardless. There are some similarities with the school shootings, and they generally include a couple of things. And I want to get into that in a second. And these are things we need to focus on. Because you know what? We can do this together. We can do this together. Believe it or not, as a supporter of the Second Amendment, I don't revel when there's a mass shooting. I don't go, wow, I want more of those. Okay? We can do this together. And if you're going to sit there and you're going to say, I want to get rid of all guns, you know what? Bullcrap. And there's a massive movement in the country, and it is an emotional movement, and God bless those who've been affected by these shootings. But there is a massive movement to get rid of guns, if not assault weapons, all of them, all together. And that's an extreme over here. And you've got another extreme over here saying, well, I won't say. There are already plenty of restrictions on guns. If the bump stock is something that's at issue here, then fine, the bump stock. As far as assault rifles are concerned, I think that the number of killings in assault rifles is relatively low. There are other weapons that can be used. If you load a 9mm, bang, 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 clip, bang, 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 bang. Did you watch The Matrix? I don't think Keanu Reeves ever used I don't think he ever used an AR-15. I think everything in those movies was handguns. Right? So there's that. There's maybe retired, and we did this, by the way, remember September the 11th? They said, let's put air marshals on all the flights, and we'll get retired military, and they'll go on the flights. And there still are air marshals who fly. It's a terrible thing to do for a living. You get on a plane and you ride the plane, and you get on a plane and you ride the plane. It's an awful thing to do for a living. But there are some who did it. They also said to fortify the doors of the cockpits, okay? Then they went completely over the top with the screening process, where little old ladies are being wanded and taken out of their wheelchairs, and we're not profiling those who might really, really be the ones who get on planes. So there you go. Then you're jumping the shark. Same thing happening here. You've got another school shooting. We had a church shooting. We had Mandalay Bay, all of these things. So now it's get rid of guns. That is the equivalent of the TSA. Even worse, though, because it steps on a fundamental right in this country, which is the Second Amendment right to bear arms. Denny says, I sold a pistol, but you still have to have a background check on the person you sold it to. Really? I didn't know that, Denny. Roger, sorry, they're not assault rifles. Wish people would understand that. I know they're hunting rifles, dude. They're just made to look badass. Joni says, I grew up with brothers who had access to guns, but they never shot or threatened anybody. Yeah, I'm with you, girl, because we're a white trash family. We had 2 loaded shotguns above the damn washer and dryer in the entryway in our house. So all you had to do was go grab a gun, boom, and then mom and dad had, in their bedroom, they had 2 guns, and then in their nightstands, each of them had a handgun. I'm not kidding. We never thought twice about it. And here's the thing, guys. I was bullied. I wanted revenge. I wanted people to pay. When I was in junior high, I was tired of getting beat up, but I never thought about killing anybody. I never thought about going in and killing somebody. But now you've got, and what I believe, particularly with these school shootings, is you've got a generation of young men being raised without fathers, many of them medicated to numb their desire to not sit behind a desk all day. And then if they act a little bit hyper, they suddenly have a disorder, attention deficit disorder. And so they're numbed with medication. And then they're treated for depression because the medication that they took for ADHD and ADD, that impacted them. And so now they're taking antidepressants. And there are all of these mania, suicidal thoughts, all of these things. Think about that. If adults, you have to have a tag on the end of the commercial on TV for your depression med that says you might suffer suicidal thoughts and mania and all that. Could you imagine what happens to the developing mind? So let's have a conversation about this, all right? Not everybody, in fact, 1/10 of 100, 100th of 10th of 1%, whatever the hell, of people who own assault rifles commit acts of violence with them, all right? That's just the way it is. But there are a group of people who are committing these acts, some in the name of jihad, okay? FBI dropped the ball on that too. Thank you, Fort Hood and San Bernardino. Thank you, FBI. You effed up both times. All right? Armed teachers, Johnny, I have no problem with it. Marty says single point of entry. Students, visitors must pass through metal detectors. Trained teachers and administrations and active shooters in firearms training. Students must use backpacks made of clear material. Okay, I think that's a little extreme. I'm with you on the maybe the metal detectors. But definitely, I think a lot of schools have already reacted to the single point of entry. My daughter's school has that. And you've got to get buzzed in. You've got to show an ID, the whole deal. Same way with my sons. Now, if you really want to bust in with a gun, then you're going to be able to shoot your way in. But active shooter training, hell yes. God dang it. Can you believe we're doing this? Can you believe we're doing this? We've got to do this in this country, and we do. We've got to address why we're having so many mass shootings, not how they're being done, okay? We've got to address why they're happening. You had the DC sniper. Remember that? They killed a bunch of people using a single shot rifle over multiple days, and they hid. So that was different, okay? That was different. You had the church shootings. That was different. Who knows why that happened? The school shootings are completely different, and I think imminently more traceable because they broadcast it on Snapchat. They put it right out there on Snapchat, and they show the signs, and then the FBI should have picked it up. And it's amazing because, are you ready for this? When I get into this, we missed this kid in Florida, and it should have been so easy to stop this. In the meantime, in the last couple of days, dozens of cases around the country of kids stopped before they could do anything. Or maybe just bragging about it to make some sort of a stupid point and getting in trouble. How did that happen? So the school thing, we ought to be able to shut that down pretty quickly. You can't tell when somebody's going to go to a movie theater. All right, you can't tell. Tracy says it needs to be just like the airport. No, it doesn't, Tracy. It does not. We do not need to overreact. Joseph, my father had a gun rack with a shotgun, 30-30 Winchester, 22 rifle. None were locked up. The bullets were stored in the closet. I know, dude. Never even thought about it. We never touched it until my brother got the shotgun and shot my G.I. Joes in the backyard. Oh, my dad would have kicked his ass. Tim says, I believe it'll get much worse. Broken children. Yeah, listen to this. And I heard Rush talking about this today. There was this Michael Ian Black. I've seen this guy before. He's an actor and comedian. And he was in a conversation on Twitter. He said, deeper even the gun problem is boys are broken. Now, unfortunately, he didn't understand how boys are broken. He said men don't have the language to understand masculinity as anything other than some version of a caveman because no language exists. The language of masculinity is hopelessly entwined with sexuality. The language of sexuality is hopelessly entwined in power, agency, and self-worth. Well, I hate to tell you this, you dumb shit. Masculinity has saved your ass. Masculinity is why you can speak freely in this country. Masculinity is why you're not speaking German, you idiot. All right? So you could say whatever you want about maybe your phony friends in Hollywood who are cads and sexual animals, but by God, most of us use our masculinity in a positive way. Nothing wrong with masculinity. Masculinity wins wars. Masculinity saves people. Masculinity saved a lot of people in that school in Florida. And I want to mention something real quick. I want to mention this, something we can all agree on. And I mentioned this a second ago on another Facebook broadcast. The U.S. Army has awarded the Medal of Heroism to 3 junior reserve officers training cadets who were killed in Parkland, Florida. These 3 kids. It's not all masculinity. It was pointed out to me by a friend of mine named David Nissen. Elena Petty, 14 years old. A girl in the ROTC Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps. Peter Wang. Martin Duke. They're all going to receive, or all have received, the Medal of Heroism as 13 and 14-year-olds. Because they displayed courage in actions that involved the acceptance of danger and extraordinary responsibilities. These 13 and 14-year-olds rescued people, essentially became human shields trying to get as many people out of the school as possible. 13 and 14-year-olds. So it's not all masculinity. There was a girl there, Elena Petty, and she gave her life as a 14-year-old kid. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Back to this story about boys and the war on them. This is according to this Michael Ian Black, and he's wrong. We're terrified of being viewed as something other than men. We know ourselves to be men, but don't know how to be our whole selves. Bullcrap. A lot of us, including me, either shut off experience or deep shame or rage. All three men are terrified. You know, whatever. No, you're not. Masculinity is a good thing. I don't need to feminize myself. I don't need to. I'm a husband and I'm a father, and I hope a real positive influence on my family, my friends, and my viewers. But I am unabashedly masculine. Now, I do all the grocery shopping and I do all the cooking, and I've got about 100 cooking videos on the web. But back to this piece here, and this is in USA Today. The solution to male violence is not to spout off dribble about the evils of masculinity. Masculinity channeled well is the reason assistant football coach Aaron Feist died this week. Feist shielded students from bullets by pushing them into the classroom. Broken homes, or homes without a physically and emotionally present mother and father, are the cause of most of society's ills. Unstable homes produce unstable children, writes Peter Hassan of The Federalist. On CNN's list of the 27 deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history, 7 of those shootings were committed by young males since 2005. Of the 7, only one Virginia Tech shooter, Sung Cho, remember that guy, was raised by his biological father throughout childhood. Nicholas Cruz, the kid who did the shootings in Florida, his adopted father died when he was 10. His adopted mother had a difficult time raising him. New book, Warren Farrell, The Book Boys Crisis, says boys are experiencing a crisis of education, and they are, because boys now, have been given an unfair advantage in school in math and science, and so the focus is on girls, and now more girls are going to college than boys. And I'm not coming down on girls here, but we are now looking at masculinity as toxic. We're going after men in college with Title IX for sexual assault and convicting young men and kicking them out of school before they've had due process. Okay. A crisis of education, a crisis of mental health, crisis of purpose, and the root of it all is fatherlessness. Indeed, there is no direct correlation between boys who grow up with absent fathers and boys who drop out of school, who drink, who do drugs, who become delinquent, and who wind up in prison. I believe that. We blame guns, violence in media, violence in video games, poor family values. Each is a plausible player. After Newtown, this guy, Farrell, noticed both, but our daughters live in the same homes with the same access to the same guns, video games, and media, and are raised with the same family values. Our daughters are not killing us. Our sons are. Without dads as role models, boys' testosterone is not well channeled. The boys' experiences of sense of purposelessness, a lack of boundary enforcement, rudderlessness, and often withdrawals into video games and video porn. At worst, when boys' testosterone is not channeled by any involved dad, boys become among the world's most destructive forces. When boys' testosterone is well channeled by an involved dad, boys become the world's most constructive forces. The same instinctual response occurred in Aurora, Colorado movie theater in 2012. 3 men, John Blanc, Matt McQuinn, Alex Teves, died shielding their girlfriends. Let me tell you a personal story. And Tracy says, thank God for soldiers, even if they're children. These cadets were amazing. Daniel says, more counseling, personal attention instead of giving them a pill. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Fix the family We fix the problem. Now, here's an interesting dynamic because this is going on in inner cities around the country. We talked about African-American fathers and fatherless homes in inner cities, 75% of kids being raised without. Why is the murder rate 10 times the national average in inner cities? It's not mass murders, it's individual murders or drive-by shootings and several people, but nothing like this, not 17 people. It's individuals going after gang members and rivals, etc. But if you look at the number of fatherless homes, it's a direct correlation. When I was 7 years old, my father left me. All right, he was my first adopted father, adopted at birth, and he left me. And my brother Richard was very close to him. He was very close to him, and when he left, my son, God. It's interesting because we were both adopted from different mothers. Two things I'd do if I could go back in time as an adult. Two things I would do. One of them was I'd tell myself, you're going to be okay. Okay? You're going to be okay. You're going to get out of this house. You're going to be fine. You're going to eventually, someday, be a father. You are going to be a husband. Am I the best father? Nobody is. I wanted to be the best father. I'm a pretty damn good father. I'm a pretty good husband. Could be better, My brother Richard never got past that. We had a stepfather, but he rejected my stepfather. My stepfather rejected him. And my brother died at 38 years old of a heart attack in his sleep. My brother tried to go into the military to straighten out his life, injured, honorably discharged. He could not get out. And his life was never the same. It was never the same. He was never able to do anything. I did the opposite. I said, you know what? You're going to leave me? Screw you. I'm out of here. I'm gonna keep my eyes on the prize, and I'm gonna get the heck out of here, and I'm gonna make something of myself. Now, do I still have some scars? Yeah. But this is a big deal. Okay. So we should look at each of these shootings, each of these mass shootings, and we have too many of them. I mean, we can all agree on that. Dear God, one is too many. We've got a lot of them. I mean, we had Mandalay Bay, and we had the church shooting. There's so much that we just forget them. It used to be, oh, my God, Columbine. But now it's like, So let's go at this together rather than just say, get rid of guns, or just say, don't touch my guns. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And I know that if we all work together, we're going to be able to do something. We're going to be able to keep our guns, okay? And we're all going to be able to come together. We're going to say, we've got to do this together. We've got to stop this. That's it. All right. Students across the nation are planning walkouts this week. No, you don't walk out. You walk out, you get suspended. No, that's just not the way it works. If you want to protest, you can do it after school. Students tweeted about proposed walkouts with the hashtag national school walkout, hashtag April 20, hashtag April 20 walk. Apparently going to do this national school walkout. The petition says nothing has changed since Columbine. Let us start a movement that lets the government know the time for change is now. All right, that's fine. It's an emotional reaction. It is just basically get rid of guns. That's what it's all about, essentially. It's just about getting guns. Classmates of those killed during Wednesday's shooting offered strong words for anyone opposing new gun laws. Why was the student able to terrorize my school, Mr. President? Well, Barack Obama was in president with control of Congress for an entire term, and nothing was done about gun control. So there you go. The president made that. And here are the copycats. John Staley, 17. Now, this isn't a copycat of what just happened, but February the 8th, he pleaded no contest to a charge of conspiracy to commit murder. He had planned on a mass shooting at Hilliard-David High School, created 3 school diagrams to map out the shooting, tried to recruit other students to help, wrote down weapons and ammunition needed. He's going to jail for 4 years. He's going to jail for 4 years. He begged the judge for mercy. The judge says, you're going to jail for 4 years, you idiot. Got to do that, too. He said, I never meant for it to go this far. Please have mercy on me, sir. And he did. He could have served 11 years. But he's going for 4. The judge said letters and psychologist reports were factors in the decision toward the minimum of 4 years. Okay. 17-year-old Connecticut high school kid was arrested after allegedly saying, during class, I could buy an AR-15. Authorities came to the Ledyard High School after getting word from school officials around 9 o'clock on Thursday morning when the student made the comment. The student, whose identity is being withheld, is charged with threatening in the second degree and breach of peace in the second degree. Don't mess around with it. The kid didn't have these weapons at home, by the way. At least a dozen copycats this week have been arrested in school shooting threats across the country. This is, this is stupid. These are just stupid kids. Edward Charles Osgood, 14, arrested on a written threat to kill on Saturday in St. Petersburg. Round 3 on Florida on Tuesday. Goes to Lealman Innovation Academy. They quickly reported a disturbing Snapchat image. Police went to his house, says, I know you're here because of the photo. They arrested him. For some reason, Osgood decided to pose with a friend's AR-15 replica BB gun. Make a similar post. Not a good idea. Christian Costet, 19, arrested for allegedly threatening to shoot up Waite High School. He's 19 years old in Toledo. Cops recovered a replica rifle that Costed had allegedly posted with the photos. And I've got an 11-year-old girl in Davie, Florida, put a note under a door. I will bring a gun to school and kill all you ugly-ass kids and teachers. Bitch, I will bring the gun. Be prepared, bitch, read the note. She was caught on surveillance video, leaving the note. She's 11. Parenting, people. Parenting, right? Am I right? 15-year-old boy arrested in Indiana. 13-year-old boy in Republic, Missouri, arrested for making a video threatening to shoot up a school with an AK-47. You know what? You're going to go to juvie for a while, kids. You're gonna be making up for juvie. By the way, after my show here, I'm on Twitch, TWITCH, at Rob Carson Show. If you would follow me over there at the top of the hour, which is 6 o'clock Central Standard, I would greatly appreciate it. So we're doing 2 shows, one of them here, which is glorious, thank you, and one of them on Twitch. I want to mention I've got a terrific sponsor, and on Friday, listen to this, okay? Pit Barrel Cookers, all right, pitbarrelcooker.com. These are cookers that surround whatever you're cooking with heat. You take whatever meat you're eating. That's pork. Looks like pork loin, or maybe pork butt. You can put ribs in there, and it surrounds the meat with heat, and it uses charcoal, and it's glorious. And these things are built like a brick excrement house, and they will last you forever. And they're made by a veteran. This guy came back from Iraq and smelled barbecue, and he said, you know what? I'm home. So he and his wife built this company. Noah Glanville and his wife, Amber. Talked to Amber the other day. She's the only person who knows how to talk faster than I do. They built this thing. He was a Navy corpsman. He had PTSD. And he came back, and they built this company, and they got the best damn cooker in the country. The best damn cooker in the country. And guess what? Listen, we're giving away one on Friday. We are giving away one on Friday right here. All right? We are going to give away a $300 top-of-the-line pit barrel cooker right there, the classic you see over there on the left. We're giving away that on Friday right here. How sweet is that? Do not miss my show, and they'll send it to you, postage paid, and you'll be cooking in a couple of days. Pitbarrelcooker.com, pitbarrelcooker.com. Tell them Rob Carson sent you. They're fantastic. Democrat Representative Spear, you've heard this woman. She says, and this is insane. Let's see where she's from. I always forget where Jackie Spear is her name. California, of course. She says that no adult needs an assault weapon. We've got to do a lot more than that. But to somehow think that this is a mental issue is just fundamentally ignorant. No, that was fundamentally ignorant. Anybody who goes into a building and kills people wholesale, you don't think that mental illness is a part of that, Jackie? That is beyond fundamentally ignorant. I mean, that is just, really? Let me check your comments here because I do get a lot of them, and I'm trying to keep up with you guys. Baby boomers shaking our heads. Gotcha. I'm a Gen Xer. Oh, Tracy, thank you. Congratulations on meeting the family. Yeah, that was really cool, by the way. This weekend. Oh, you want to see? Just real quick in case you missed it. Hold on. This weekend, I met part of my biological family, and I found my biological mother. You ready to see her? Now, I want you to look at the nose. I did this weekend. Look at the nose. Okay. Oops. Let me try it over here. Okay. Look at the nose. Hold on. There you go. There she is. Hold on. Right there. Okay, so look at the nose. Jeez, God, what the hell? There. Look at the nose. See that? Maybe a little of the mouth. She had red hair. I used to have really red hair. Her name's Elaine Getz. She passed away 3 years ago. Elaine Getz was her name. So that's my biological mom, I guess, right here. Elaine Getz. What do you think? She look like me? A little bit? Want to see my biological half-sis? She's about 15 years older than me. There she is, right there. Biological half-sis. She lives in Harlan, Iowa. Name's Patty, and she's a hell of a nice person. So there you go. I met them this weekend. That was kind of cool, dude. That was kind of cool. Oh, did you hear what Nancy Pelosi said about the tax cuts? She's still on this thing about tax cuts. Let's move on from the shooting, shall we? Let's move on from the shooting. Let's talk about that. Nancy Pelosi is calling the GOP tax bill unpatriotic. Here is Nancy Pelosi speaking to a group in Arizona. She was in Phoenix talking about the evil Republican plan to let people keep their own money. Here is cut number 1 from Nancy Pelosi. Come on, Nancy, play. There we go.
I don't want this to seem partisan because I think that there's a way for us. We could have, as we have done before, written a tax bill in a bipartisan way that had transparency, that people could see what it was about, was unifying, and was bipartisan. Instead, in the dark of night, it was dark of night and the speed of light.
That's exactly what they did with Obamacare. That's exactly what they did with Obamacare. In the middle of the night on Christmas Eve 2010.
Wrote something that now people are finding out about. But
they're finding out that 80% of us get a little bit more money in our paycheck. If I had a job, I'd get a paycheck.
They did it fast because they didn't really want people to know. And so,
did you read the bill, Nancy? You said of Obamacare that you had to pass the bill before you find out what's in it.
They could pin a rose on it. You're getting this. Okay, that's welcome. But now that from a public relations standpoint, some of the corporations are giving bonuses and the rest, and we're saying that's nice. Some of it was in the union contracts already.
Yeah, but it's absolute bullcrap. Most of them were not union contracts. You're high. You are absolutely high as far as the bonuses are concerned. These were one-time bonuses given because of the tax cuts. They said it. You're making that up. That is false. Here she is talking about a Democrat promise to raise pay. Instead of giving bonuses, raise pay. Listen, this is just choice. This is fantastic.
And so that's why when they say, we're giving a bonus, let's raise the pay. That's why Democrats...
Okay, Democrat Party, here's what they mean by raising the pay. Raising the minimum wage. The only thing that they have in their arsenal is raising the minimum wage. While Barack Obama was president, ding, I don't know what that was. While Barack Obama was president, wages were stagnant.
I have a better idea, better deal, better pay, better wages, better jobs, better wages.
They were in the power for 8 years. You had both houses of Congress and the presidency the first term. Why didn't any of that happen then? You still keep preaching this stuff, but it never happens. It never freaking happens with Democrats. Right now, you're seeing it. Today, the small business index of what the hell was it? Optimism was through the roof. Here you go. Small business confidence surging in 2018. Optimism rises among small business owners about the newly enacted tax reform package. But no, an increase in the index from 57 to 62. Record high and the largest quarter-to-quarter move the index has seen since CNBC and SurveyMonkey began measuring it. So there you go. But Nancy Pelosi is still saying it's unpatriotic. We're going to raise your pay. We're going to give you more jobs. None of that happened. None of that happened during 8 years of Obama. The first year of Trump, this is happening.
Better future. And that's the way to grow the economy, not by putting more money in the pocket of the very few.
Okay. Again, basically 1% growth GDP for 8 years of Obama. All right? You're saying you're going to grow the economy. How? God, you're such an ignoramus. Oh, here she gets heckled about how much money she's worth. Listen to this.
As Martin Luther King said, God really didn't intend, let me read his, God really didn't intend, never intended one group of people to live in superfluous, inordinate wealth while others live in abject, deadening poverty.
Now, she's a member of the steakhouse set in Washington, D.C. She's a member of this group of people that go to Washington, D.C. They become very rich. They get book deals. They spend the rest of their lives there telling us how to live ours, and they become incredibly wealthy. Nancy Pelosi.
These are kitchen table issues, though, for America's families, because most people are not in deadening poverty, but some are. But most people have to struggle to make.
How much are you worth, Nancy?
Me. So now we're not talking about that. Okay. So in any event, I can I'm a mother of 5. I can out.
Oh yeah, whatever you. Who cares how many babies you pushed out of your, whatever. How much are you worth, Nancy? Honestly, and you were supposed to be a public servant. Maxine Waters is supposed to be a public servant. Man, she's made millions. How's that possible? How's it possible that Maxine Waters lives in a $4 million house outside of the district she represents? How is that possible? She's a public servant making $170,000 a year, trying to afford a place in D.C. and back home, but she's managed to get rich. All right. Keep sharing, guys. Do appreciate the views are up. Very cool. Got to keep them going. I greatly appreciate it. Look, should we have a little fun here before I sign off this evening? Let's have a little bit of fun, shall we? Listen to this, guys. Claudia Ackley is positive that she and her daughters came across Bigfoot in a tree in Southern California. When she called different state authorities to report the sighting, she got the same response. Nope. You saw a bear. As a result, she has filed a lawsuit against the state for failing to recognize Sasquatch as a distinct species. Ackley filed her suit with documentary filmmaker Todd Standing, who made the Netflix film Discovering Bigfoot, who believes the site is legit. He looked like a Neanderthal man with hair all over him. Could have been Michael Moore. Ackley says it's a second sure sighting. Solid black eyes, no expression on his face. Yeah, Michael Moore. They're suing the state because she says it was actually Bigfoot. Okay, another terrific sponsor. Right there, Three Little Pigs Barbecue. See that guy on the left there? That's Chris Marks, three-time winner of the World Series of Barbecue, Kansas City, American Royal, the preeminent barbecue contest in the world. It is. People come from Japan and Australia. I competed in it 2 years ago. My potatoes got 65th out of 660 teams. But it's my first time. ThreeLittlePigsBarbecue.com. They got 3 sauces that are just incredible and 4 rubs. If you want to learn the ways of barbecue, you want to get a little gift basket. Get to know these rubs. Get to know these sauces. They're spectacular. You this spring, will become the place that people want to come. They want to hang out on your deck. And have you been smoking ribs all day, or you've been using your pit barrel cooker all day? Oh, it's a glorious thing. It is a glorious thing, really. ThreeLittlePigsBarbecue.com. You can just Google that, or you can just get at that website. And then, of course, let's not forget Pit Barrel, pitbarrelcooker.com. Again, we're giving one away on Friday. Tracy, Denny, Patricia, all you guys who are watching right now, Marty, all you guys who are watching right now, I'll just go ahead and say, I'll just run down some names here because you deserve it. Barbara, G. Marie, Bobby, William, Bonnie, Troy, Jimmy, Adam, Denny, Jerry, Karen, Salvador, Angela, Ronald, Missy, Art, Sonia, Lynn, Mike, Randy, Mary, Sharon, all you guys. Friday, right here on American Journal Review on Facebook or LibertyOneTV.com, LibertyOneTV.com. Please start watching on LibertyOneTV.com because we never know how social media is going to react to publishers like us, and we never know where they're going to take us off. But Friday, I'm giving away one. And Saturday on my food podcast at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, I've got a hot sauce barbecue sauce package coming for you from one of the nation's premier bottlers of hot sauce and barbecue sauce, Original Wands. I'm going to explain what that is on Saturday because you're going to be my guest. And Friday on the show, the maker of Pit Metal Cooker is going to be joining me on this show. Also, another guy who I work with, this is called Friends in Service of Heroes. Paul Chapp is a friend of mine. It's a charity that gives service animals to veterans who are suffering and also gives these motorized track chairs to quads and quadriplegics and paraplegics soldiers. And they can go out and they can hunt and they can fish and they can go through the woods, and these things are amazing. They're $18,000, and I've been there when we've given away a bunch of these things, and it's spectacular. Friends in Service of Heroes. Fish, Friends in Service of Heroes. He's going to join me Friday, and Friday we're giving away a pit barrel cooker. How cool is that? All right. Tracy, I grill year-round, too. Charles says America has lost its moral compass. Well, you're right. We've seen the death of common sense and morality in this country. But you know what? I'm not ready to give it up. Are you? Are you ready to give up? I'm not ready to give up. I got 2 wonderful kids, and they're wonderful kids. I'm proud of them. And so I know they're going to be fine. And I'm going to do everything I can to give them a head start. Also, just the swag line right here, the swag line. T-shirts and stuff. tpublic.com, Conservatees, tpublic.com, Conservatees. We've got about 72 designs. A good friend of mine, Sam Cangelosi, comes up with the designs. I come up with the ideas, and they're cool. Get T-shirts and whatever. It's starting to pick up, so share that with other people as well. All right, in the meantime, time for me to go. I'm going to Twitch, TWITCH, Rob Carson Show. Will you do me? I mean, this would be so big for me. Please follow me on Twitch. Go to twitch.com, look up Rob Carson Show, and just follow. And if you want to watch the show coming up next, that's great. But I'm trying to get affiliate status so I can pay my rent. Because if I got to make this work. Otherwise, the lady in the other room and I are going to be out of the house. It sucks. Yeah, this is kind of a bitch industry. Anyway. God bless, as I like to say tonight, hands clasped for those who passed in Florida, hands clasped for the families, all of those. And many are saying some very irrational things because they're in agony. They're in agony. So understand when they're saying, ban guns, they're in agony. Pray for them. And then let's find a solution together, okay? All right. Guys, have a glorious evening. God bless, and I will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, right here, Liberty One TV. And, of course, on this Facebook page. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram, I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.